I will call the meeting to order. If everyone could please rise for the salute to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Thank you, everyone, for attending our meeting this evening. The room is crowded.
Dated red.
Crowded. I don't see public comment on the agenda, but I will call for public comment at this time. None here in the township building. They're all waving though. Anyone in Zoom? All right, none at this time. All right, we'll move on. Township manager, what do we have? Mr. Vimazal.
All right, good evening, commissioners. A couple items here for discussion. We have a very few, administrative cleanup. The last meeting, the business meeting in February, there was a discussion and a motion and a second on the holiday lighting. The excitement of approving that lighting to get it into a discount period. We neglected to have a formal vote. At that meeting, I believe Commissioner Evans made a motion, and I believe it was seconded by Commissioner Sandero. But in order to just make sure we're on the up and up, if you want to have a redo on the vote, that would be appreciated.
Okay, and to give credit where it's due, Commissioner Young did bring that up during the meeting. He was almost sure that we did not take a vote. So since it's already been motioned and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we still made it through the cutoff period. Okay.
Feeling festive, yes. Next, on the agenda 1.2, it's the cash service agreement to Coatesville High School. You may recall last summer, I believe, there was discussion on updating the service agreement. This is when Callan Township Police Department support the Coatesville School District for special events and requests of that sort. It was just updating the contract to accommodate changes in cost and things of that sort. My understanding, Chief, please correct me if I'm wrong, but just recently the school district has agreed to those terms and sent that back for the board. I don't believe there have been any changes to that. And I don't know if you have any updates other than what was discussed in the summer, Chief.
Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Good evening. How?
The agreement was drafted by Coatesville School District, but we reviewed it. Solicitor Camp recommended changes. The school district has agreed to those changes, and as the manager mentioned, they've signed off on it, and now myself and the board president need to sign off on it. We've been providing special duty police services on a reimbursement basis forever for the school district, and it's never really been an issue, but a lot of the terms just needed to be codified into a document. This updates our overtime rates, and it provides for a 3-hour minimum per officer for each event that we're asked to provide services.
Perfect. All right, since it's a discussion item, commissioners, any comments? Questions?
No.
No, I remember when we fully vetted this before we sent it over to them. Is there anything in there that requires that the officers on duty have goatees?
No, sir. No. But it's not too late to amend it if the board would so choose.
Doesn't require, just looks good.
Oh, sure does. That guy.
Thank
This
you.
guy. That guy. Come on, he's got a beard.
I would assume at our next meeting, we would have something to vote on.
The business meeting in months will have full, yes, we will have agreement and first thing.
Perfect. All right, next on the agenda. Thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. 1.3.
1.3, this is a follow-up once again from last month. As you may recall, we completed and submitted an application for $250,000 to the county. This was a Preservation and Parks Partnership Grant to support the construction phase of Beaver Creek Segment 5 over at the park and connecting the downtown borough. Grant was submitted and it's under review currently. One component that the county has requested is at the contract page for that application. They made a policy change about a couple years back that they're requesting municipalities sign the contract and then submit it. And if and when receive the funding, that information will be completed by the county and then signed by the county commissioners. It helps expedite processing and gets the money into our account faster. Did confirm with them that if for whatever reason conditions change and this board no longer is interested in receiving those funds, even though the contract is signed today or at some date, we do have the right to not accept the funding at that future date when they make their decision. So we're not bound by terms, but in the event of when we receive the funding, it just expedites processing on their front.
So do they guarantee that will actually receive that amount by you signing it, or we will just have to wait to see what they allocate to us? Yeah.
To be determined, but I think we spent quite a bit of time in that application. It checks all the boxes that I know they're looking for. Feel very strongly and confidently that that will be successful.
Okay, thank you.
Just one comment. The majority of the contract is already put together. They're just at a later date, they're going to put the amount and the terms to it.
Yes, the amount.
Okay. Just the amount. Okay.
Fair amount. Yeah.
So it's just saving a little bit of time.
I think they ran into some difficulties. The announcements come out, I believe, over the summer. And many municipalities do either cut back on their meetings or in some cases may not be meeting vacation schedules and what have you. So in the past, they may have awarded funding in, say, June or July, and then not received back an executed contract from the municipality until September. That delay creates problems because you do have to spend the money within a given period of time, and they were granting extensions. So this is a way to get around that, I believe.
Here in Callan, we do not take breaks, but still, I think it's a good idea to go ahead and sign it. All right. So commissioners, any other comments, questions? Reach out here to the township residents, please, one at a time. All right, no comments at this time.
Yeah.
Anyone in Zoom? Sounds good. Entertain a motion to authorize the board to sign the municipal park and trail ribbon grant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure who it was over here. Commissioner Kennedy, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Motion passes 4-0. Great. 1.4. We have salt shed.
Thank you.
Salt.
This item, 1.4, Public Works Salt Shed. We talked about this indirectly during the improvements Public Works complex regarding the bathrooms, restrooms during past meetings. This is a component of that. And of course, Director Huggins, who has been searching and identifying possible solutions for many weeks and months. But the discussion tonight is essentially the one salt shed we have presently is so wooden structure. The one wall, after years of successful winter maintenance, storing the salt, is giving way. So there's some structural concerns for that building. However, we require to store salt properly under our MS4 requirements. One of the possible solutions that will meets the requirement is pole barn style shed. It's seen a lot of PennDOT utilizes them quite frequently. Other municipalities do. This wouldn't be necessarily a temporary structure. We do envision it could have a permanent use given the lifespan of that property, if not for salt, but for vehicles or other types of equipment to get it out of the elements. But it would allow us space to see what needs to be done to that building, whether in place, stored, or repaired. But just with the salt in there currently, we have to relocate it. I know Director Huggins has identified some possible vendors and looking at some additional ones and then put together some proposals for cost savings. So, care to elaborate on anything I'm leaving out?
Yeah, well, I had a photo of it.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, we have it. Bring the quote.
Yeah, they want to pull it up for the Zoom folks
Yeah.
and our audience.
Can I ask a question real quick while she's pulling up? Is
Yes,
there any type of protective for the front part? Because it looked like it said it had a
yeah, well,
front end wall.
yeah, it's just a three-sided. Most salt sheds are three-sided. So,
So if the weather, it wouldn't bother this.
right. So what you're supposed to do under the guidance of EPA and all that, you got to have the salt under the shed, so you
Mhm.
can't have it, spilling out. So rain and stuff stays off of it. But normally, what we do in the summertime is we tarp it. We put tarps over it, and pretty
Over the
much
salt.
that's what everyone does because they keep them closed like that because you got to back triaxles and whatnot inside. You take the loader inside of it, so. And that's the area I was thinking about, putting it. So, Steelmaster sells this type of salt shed. Pretty much, it comes on a flatbed truck. We can put it together, which saves the cost of doing that. That's what I'm looking into.
Mhm.
I came across some fabric ones that were cheaper, but they don't as long lasting as the steel structure here with a 25-year guarantee on the life of the
Oh, wow.
structure. So just
And just to point out,
This sounds
Abby
good.
superimposed
Yes.
a picture. The salt shed would look like. Excellent job. At first, I'm thinking, oh my God, it looks like it belongs there.
So the area that we did clear out the past previous week, we cleared the area out where we can set the salt shed down out back.
How many tons of salt does this,
Well, the size I've gone down, I'm projecting 800 ton to put in it.
800 tons
Since
of salt?
yes, since the township's getting bigger, we're going to have more roads in the future, so we might as well enlarge it.
Wow, that's pretty
while
big.
we
It's a
have the
lot of
opportunity to
salt.
do so,
Okay.
and just all the troubles they've been having in the Midwest, all the salt been going there, and
Mhm.
so it's funny that I actually got a delivery today after ordering in January. So
Wow.
so
That's quite a bit. So it holds quite a bit of salt. That's good.
yes,
So the existing structure, once it's emptied out, you'll be able to see the damage, the extent of the damage
yeah, we'll be
in the
able
rear
to.
section of it.
Yeah. So that is connected to the our other warehouse in the back. And if you walk in that warehouse, you can see the wall bowing from the years of putting the salt in there and everything. The walls are pushing
Faded
out.
out.
If you stand in front of it on the left side of it, the walls are about to blow out. So it's trying to, if you can see the picture, we have no salt on that one side just
Right.
because of that.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want nobody going there with the loader, climbing up in there and tipping over.
Will that be demolished after the renovation's done on the opposite side of
Well,
it?
future planning, hopefully a new building could be put in that
Mhm.
area, but for now, we can store our equipment out of the weather in there once we get it all cleaned out,
We would plan structural assessment of the building, not only the wall, but been some leaking issues as well over the years. So just seeing what the condition of that building is, and then exploring what options are available based on what's returned. So to be determined, I suppose, would be the most appropriate answer.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Put this on the next agenda.
This is for discussion.
And you already have what, 2 quotes?
Yeah, I have 2 quotes. Just looking around for other quotes. This seems like a lot of people are pushing these fabric ones. I'm not too
Yeah.
keen on them.
Yeah,
Because of the steel structure, and then they put the fabric over top, and it's just like,
you got a little wind.
yeah, we got trees around, they rip, and the one place is from New York, so they saying they'll come down from New York, and
Yeah, this,
I just don't trust it.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that, the next meeting.
Yep.
1.5, some line striping.
This
Keep
is,
everyone straight and on the roads.
of course, Dr. Huggins has done this as well. But I know finance director wanted to put together a nice fiscal impact memo, so to speak, about the
Mhm.
funding as well. And all that material should be in the packet.
Mhm.
But this is just an annual update on some of the line. Making sure they're safe, able to be seen in all weather conditions. And
Yes. Thank you.
Are we gonna vote on that tonight or are we gonna just discuss it?
yeah, I don't think so.
Now, you listed out the streets. Are you able to put that up on the screen? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, we do have a list.
We have
Page
about
12.
9, well, 8 or 7 folks that are online now. It says 9 less you and the count. Anybody online may be interested in what streets would be striped.
please stand by.
Okay.
Everyone else can-
Yes, you have Noel. Noel's there.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Noel.
I know, well,
I'd like to hear. I'm always curious to hear. I'm a street person, so thank you.
Sure. Hopefully Abby will be able to display that soon, just to, and
While we're waiting, I do want to give that credit for getting the system up and running. I know the IT staff was here for, I think, 2 or 3 days. Of course, since our last meeting, trying to work on the glitches and technical difficulties, and so far, knock on wood,
Mhm.
so good, it seems to be
there we go.
it is, we're down to a single camera here
for now.
for now. Ah,
Oh, well.
that the full list.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yep, that was it.
We're- You should- You know,
Okay.
We're gonna recommend. You can live.
Keep it there.
So
It's
folks,
just about all of it.
folks in Zoom, you have a chance to read that list there. I know we'll be bringing that up again. We do have a resident here coming up, podium. Name and address, please. Yeah,
No, so I pretty much made sure like no kind of road construction, but can't determine like pipe or something breaks or something like that. But all the roads that are done will not.
Okay.
Noel, since you're still there, did you have a question about the list?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Noel. All right, and I know we'll bring this list back up at the next meeting when we vote on it. So any other questions, not here in the township building, any in Zoom? All right. Next, 1.6, solid waste program cart purchase.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is regarding recycling carts. Director Gill, Township Authority has a component of the grant that was received, the and half of the cost of new carts will be paid out of that grant. There will be a cost. The other half will come out of the trash fund. And the proposal that's approved in the grant was 290 65-gallon recycling carts and 49 95-gallon recycling carts, the bigger one. 20,803 will be funded through the grant. Excuse me, the cost per count, the trash fund will be 20,300 and the care will be 20,500. And it should be noted that the company that we received these carts from is moving away from the heavy duty carts we currently have, and Director Gill was able to negotiate with them. They only do limited runs a couple times a year, and when they reach a certain threshold, they change the form out in order to have the heavy duty carts created. So as soon as this is approved and we get this in, we'll get in the list. And once they hit a certain capacity, they'll make that run and they get it on a tractor trailer and deliver. They estimate it could be anywhere between next month, if it's approved at the end of the month, usually within the next 4 or 5 months, somewhere in that range that we're seeing to justify swapping out the forms. But they're moving towards flimsier carts and people are providing higher quality ones.
I will thank Scott Gill for
Yes.
his persistence. Make sure that we receive the trash carts, the heavy duty ones.
Like my heavy duty cart.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know Jenny really was the backbone to that. So I
Yeah.
give thanks to Jenny as well.
And Johnny, you have a place to store them right down at the. Messing with you. You got a place.
This is just a discussion item. Okay. Bring that back on the next meeting. All right, questions from commissioners
No.
this time? Excellent. Any here in the township building? None at this time. Anyone in Zoom? Move right along. Thanks, Adam. Street parking and large vehicles. What do we have for this?
This is a discussion. I was hoping to get some feedback from the board before we board exploring some options. We received word from several residents, larger vehicles, construction trailers, or other types of larger vehicles being parked on resident streets. In some cases, block driveway access, or can be, line of sight traffic. Speaking with Director Stackhouse, it has come up in the past. The current code that we have, ordinances in place, do not necessarily allow for a great deal of action associated with the medium-sized large vehicles, for lack of a better term. Of course, it is a safety issue. Police are having authority to protect the public welfare and require action taken. But for those that are, there's not really a set definition of what is a safety issue and what isn't until it's now no longer creates a safety problem. Something we're trying to avoid. Director Stackhouse, I know, put together from some other municipalities that have more strict uh, regulations regarding the larger vehicles being parked in residential streets. And Brad, if you care to make it.
Hello. I'm going to try to speak slowly and softly directly into the mic. No, commissioners, and it looks like, I do apologize. It looks like part of what I wanted to send you, I did not send to Denise, but it was more for discussion items. So as an example, I do believe you probably recognize that we've had this conversation before, you know, in Brandywine Homes and in Carver Court, more Brandywine Homes where utility trailers were parked in the street, sometimes attached to vehicles, sometimes not attached to vehicles. We've had that same issue in Ingleside Village. And our current ordinance, and again, not all, you know, ordinances can't cover every situation, but our current ordinance that covers these type of vehicles it really doesn't cover that. As an example, our current ordinance says a commercial vehicle over 20,000 pounds and over. I'll just use a tow truck or a small dump truck. Actually, some of those are not over 20,000 pounds, so it doesn't apply. It also doesn't apply to like enclosed construction trailers that you see a lot of times for landscapers or, you know, even if, as long as it's less than 18 feet. So we've just started delving into what are some of the other municipalities that may have some smaller streets or older neighborhoods. What are they doing? What's in front of you again, and it's not complete, was from Reading City, which obviously they have some very tight streets, small areas. But I really wanted to gauge whether the commissioners, you know, provide support for us to look into that. I would obviously continue to delve into what other municipalities are doing. And I would, you know, work with Kristen Camp to get something in front of you that doesn't overburden the community, but also provide some, you know, increased safety and addresses some issues that we've literally been talking about for a couple of years.
Commissioners, comments?
I think it's a great idea. And this is a slightly off. Well, no, it's part of it. You know, that I try not to talk about my own street, but when Aqua PA, that does not serve water to anyone in this township, was staged to do Lloyd Avenue, they had very heavy equipment parked on Arrowwood Drive, some of it for almost a year, including, and when they finally left, there's holes. People, it's hard enough to drive in today's environment with the raised anxiety, anger on the street, to have to see if you can get around a large dump truck that's parked there for a week. So I'm for it.
Gonna be some regulations.
And it's worth saying, just for, you know, anybody in the audience, of course, just like we did with the when the commissioners when we changed the ordinance about parking in the grass because of runoff and ruts, we would take a period, if we would develop an ordinance, you would approve an ordinance, we would take a period of time to phase that in by knocking on doors or doing door hangers or sending letters. Because again, if people have been doing it forever, you know, there has to be a period of making sure they know they can voice their concern, but ultimately comply with the ordinance. So I just wanted you to know we would certainly do that as we do with any new ordinance.
Okay.
And question, as far as the comments, concerns that are coming into the township, is it more of a safety issue? Is it that they're taking up too many spaces that are available?
I would say both, but mainly the concern we hear is site obstruction, either coming out of your driveway or parking sometimes, maybe not to be a violation of the vehicle code, but closer to a stop sign where
Right.
people have to go around right before they get to an intersection. So that's really the two biggest ones. Then the other ones are taking up too much parking, but I would say primarily it's the safety concern from site obstruction.
Okay, perfect.
I agree.
Reach out to the residents here in the township. They're all shaking their head yes. Anyone in Zoom? Well, I think you have the consensus to move forward,
Okay,
See-
thank you.
come up with and talk to Miss Camp. And we look forward to it.
Sounds good. Thank you.
you.
1.8 drone workshop.
Whoa. Woohoo. That sounds like fun.
Yes, there's also Director Stackhouse. This is a proposal he brought forward. Several members of his department becoming certified in drone technology and abilities. I don't know what we call it, but I'll allow him to produce it. But looking for a location, countywide program, Allen Township has one.
Commissioners,
The place.
Commissioners, the growing trend, which is a positive in emergency services across the board, police, fire, emergency management, is to use the available technology that's out there with drones for a lot of different things. So we had the opportunity to send 4 or 5 of the career firefighters to a pilot's class, a 107 pilot's class for drones, which they did complete. The next step is they can get an NFPA certification to operate those drones. That class, we were able to secure that class through Delaware State Fire School. We did open that class up to the county. Again, fire, police, anybody that wanted to take it.
Yeah.
We have a tentative date scheduled for May 17th. And then it would be part of the day would be classroom, part of the day would be out flying, actually flying the drones. Currently, I believe we have 10 people across the county plus my 5 staff signed up for the class. And the main reason to bring that before you today, the hands-on portion, we need a large open area that's at least 150 to 200 feet long and wide. Immediately, we're hosting the classroom portion at Thorndale Fire Company, and immediately we thought maybe that the Spackman Davis Farm field might be a perfect location to hold that potentially. So we haven't set where we can change that on the fly, and we have till May, but I wanted to bring it in front of the board to see if they would consider allowing us to use that area.
Commissioners, comments?
Thanks,
You're gonna,
Ray.
you're gonna go right up on top of the peak part of the farm? The hill? Yeah.
Yep. So the plus is obviously always from a class perspective, also we would need stand-ins, the driveway or the grass, all the flying, because the fields will probably be planted by then, but there'll be no, walking in the fields or anything like that. But we figured a couple things. It would be nice to be able to promote that across the county if possible, and have people from all over the county be able to come and not only participate, but see, something that the township has.
Word of mouth.
Sounds like a nice idea.
I have one question. The drones that they're using have the GPS collision response thing.
Oh, yeah. It's one of the things we did find. We actually purchased a cheaper drone
Mhm.
to prep the staff on getting used to using them before we try to find a grant to purchase, a more expensive drone that has, heat that can detect heat at nighttime and some other GPS
Mhm.
stuff. But what we did find is it's really hard these days to actually buy a drone that doesn't have all that as one package.
Yeah.
So really it's I don't want to say it's foolproof, but it senses if it comes within a certain feet from any object, it'll stop and stay there and hover until you redirect it. So yeah.
And I believe that's a good location. You said maybe up to about 20 folks, so you have parking?
Yeah, the maximum would be The maximum would be 15 actually, and
Okay,
we have 10 signed up currently.
okay.
Do you see this as a program that'll continue if it catches fire? Like something that will continually be able to host?
Well, I would like to be able to. So there is a task force. There's a rescue task force that specifically uses drones across the county. I am part of that group, email at least. So they do practice all over the county on a regular basis. So potentially with this, we could be a place that, some of that continued training would occur.
Great. Yep.
Sounds like winner. Comments from residents? Any in the Zoom?
Is the future.
All right, and I think it's a smart idea to do it over open land instead of a neighborhood. We would be receiving a lot of phone calls.
Yes, we would.
This is much better than the drone workshop I went to a few years ago. And because I came out of the drone workshop speaking like this. And that was no fun.
Well, it's
Different type of drone. I get it.
Love it.
Exactly. All right, what do we have? 1.9, we have park maintenance and tree work.
Thank you, Commissioner. This is really a two-part. The first is also related to, not just related to this Factory Davis Farm property, but, parks and facilities around the entire township. But specifically at that location are a number of trees that could use some attention. On the driveway approach, there's several, and one, as you can see on the photo before you, came down. Is that the pine? Yeah. So branches came off this pine. Now you can correct me on the proper species.
What kind of pine tree, Abby?
Which
White pine?
and there's another larger one that came down to the back of
That's
the
where I have a
property.
photo.
But really, we with the roof replacement project nearing the close, there's a number of trees in the back of the property that we've identified,
Yeah,
and
need to be cut.
several tree experts have come out to identify that are not in great shape, and there's some work that should presumably be done in order to protect the investment of the roof. What we don't want to do is close out that grant and then have a tree come down and punch a hole.
You don't need that.
So during discussions with various getting quotes for this work with the various tree companies, the point was raised, and this would really be a conversation that would go into the fall for next year's budget. But several referenced the fact that if we had a dedicated fund associated with tree maintenance and then charge an hourly rate rather than a per tree, because they'd be able to plan and schedule out the work that they'd be doing, we would receive we would have more work done for the cost associated with the project. Something to consider for next year's budget. And I know Finance Director Swan and I have spoke about the possibility of that, but really wanted to get it on the radar as a potential cost savings well into the future. That if we package it up with more or less a contract with an individual to do the work, we could potentially save some money rather than having it per tree. However, it per tree, the one in the image there is at risk. And I don't know if I would care to elaborate on that.
Yeah, we had a couple different, a few actually, different tree companies come out over the past year and look at the different ones. The consensus is all pretty much the same. There are probably 3 or 4 of these hemlocks, and they actually think they can be saved. So if we trim them up, you can cable them together or cable them to the ground, and that would keep them from ever potentially falling on the house. And in some instances, that's a lot cheaper than taking them down, which I was interested to hear. They also have some woolly adelgid infestation that would probably need to be treated. So anyway, I got a couple quotes for those different projects, as well as to trim up the oaks along the driveway. I think we all know every time you go up there, there's like a new branch in the driveway that's fallen down. So ideally, these would get cleaned up and we would have fewer fallen branches. And then there's a few along the road that probably would need to come down just because of where they're at, and they're almost all the way dead. And then we need to start planting as well to take over for when those eventually kick the bucket. But yeah. So the final fellow I had come out had been working with Public Works for a while, and has helped Nicole on the golf course as well and given us really good prices. And we're talking about the trees, and I'm showing him the farm, and he says, "Oh yeah, I know this place." He said, "I painted it one time." I said, "What do you mean you painted it?" And he was not working for a while. He took up oil painting, and and he's describing the painting to me. I said, "I know exactly what painting you're talking about." Here, let me I think you'll recognize it too when I bring it up. So he's really familiar with the property.
Really. Doesn't look like a painter. Yeah.
There we go. Never mind. Here it is. So
This one.
this one,
I recognize
which
that.
he donated to the township, and is hanging in Don's office and a few other places, because then the township purchased a bunch of copies of his prints. So I thought that was pretty funny. So anyway, he's spent many hours staring at those trees, and he would really like to help us and give us a good deal. So
Wow.
yeah, it was fun.
And the beech tree, they think it's saved? Or?
The beech tree, so it's basically in 3 sections. One of them fell down last year, and they think that they could cable the other 2 together as well, and
Excellent.
we could save 2/3 of it anyway. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
On that topic of the painting, I forgot to send this to you. I got a text earlier this week from my friend Lee Wisdom, who's in Euclid, I think, with their historical commission. She sent she was at the first Presbyterian art show,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a painting of our schoolhouse for sale. It's gorgeous. It was on sale for $100 and for how much? Sorry, $195. Painted by Dennis Park.
Should go snap it up.
I almost did.
Really at this time, this is for this meeting, this will be a discussion item,
Mhm.
but as we get into the warmer weather, and I know there's some activities, the drone workshop up at the farm, do want to maintain the property, and obviously so at the next meeting, if it's acceptable with the board, we would like to put on the agenda, take care of the immediate needs of the trees right along the property in the back to the farmhouse. And then in the fall, of course, we get into budget discussions, perhaps entertain a discussion on creating a line item in the budget for long-term maintenance projects associated with tree maintenance, not just at the large Spack and Davis farm, but Lloyd Park and Municipal Park. There's a number of trees, playground equipment going up, and we want to make sure that we don't have a branch or tree fall on them.
Mhm.
So making sure they're safe, protected for long-term use.
Do we have a rule that you take one tree down, you plant 3? Yeah. Get on the agenda.
Let's get that ready.
And just a quick story, there was a house that renovated along Paley Pike down by my parents' old house. And it was a beautiful renovation of the house, and they had a bunch of very tall trees in the backyard. They've removed the majority of them, but they left about 3 or 4. And within a month,
I know where this is going.
you know where, yeah, within a month, the storm came through, knocked over those trees right into the roof and damaged the home. So I think we just need to make sure whatever is left
Yeah.
is secured or removed.
Yeah, none of the
Removed.
proposals involve taking out any of the trees that are along that back. They would only be the standalone ones long that actually need to come down. The rest of them can just be trimmed up and fixed up. So yes, that I absolutely understand.
Yeah, I
what
don't
you're
think the
saying.
property owners thought that through.
Sure.
It only took one tree.
You know, and they don't last forever, unfortunately.
Wow.
Get rid of them.
And
Great. So that's it. We already asked residents. All right, we can move on to 1.10.
Thank
CCIU.
As this had, this has been a discussion item that we've had on the agenda ongoing since several months now. Once again, wanted to include this on there that I believe there have been some updates, some small ones that will allow Chief to provide some of those.
So at this point in the school year, we're quickly approaching 300 service calls
wow.
at the intermediate unit. I had a recent discussion with the sheriff's office, and they are actually in discussions with the CCIU. They are exploring a potential partnership on an SRO program, School Resource Officer Program. Under Act 67, the Police and School Resource Officers Act, Pennsylvania, sheriffs are included as potential candidates for SRO programs. I don't have any more information than that at this point. So we'll see if there's anything further that comes of that.
Chief, any other updates?
Thank you.
I need to.
I mean, we'll continue to place this on the agenda moving forward, and hopefully, and now that these conversations are happening, soon they'll present it at they have their own board for us, so we might be able to get some board meetings are reaching out to leadership over there directly to see how things are going. So hopefully, at some of these future updates, we'll be able to provide some information regarding that. But it is good to hear that movement. Something is.
Okay. When did you said they have another? They have a board meeting themselves. This something soon?
They do. We looked that up the other day. Yeah, it's from each of the school districts that participate in the IU. One of their board members can serve on the board for the IU. Bear with me 1 second.
We have a hand raised. Okay. Thank you.
The next meeting is March 19th.
Oh.
Next Wednesday.
Is this something that we could attend? Maybe one of your staff or you?
Yeah.
Or you?
Yeah.
I can certainly look into that. And,
I mean, we
I'm
would miss
assuming
you
they're
at the
public.
Historical Commission, but that I think that it
Yeah.
would be
That's
better
true.
if you went there.
I'm assuming they're public. Public entity like that, but I'll look into it. I'd be happy to.
If you're able to attend,
Yeah.
see what's going on that end of it. I know we discuss it, put it out there. We let our residents know it's a safety issue for our residents. We idea to see what's happening on there.
Of course.
Grand idea.
Appreciate that.
They're getting
If you wanted,
per student in their budget. For every kid that's represented out of the district, so much money being allocated for each kid, they don't have the protection. It's turning into a behavioral setting, like teaching to me.
all right.
You
Any
are
oth-
relieved of the historical commission, that's what I'd say. If you
I'll,
care to
I'll
go.
review the minutes. Of course.
Abby Opie.
Yes.
Oh, we did have a hand raise. Was that Mark DeYoung? Is he online? Mike, Mark?
Muted. Hey, Mark.
Still muted? Mark, you there? Mr. DeYoung.
You can hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
perfect.
I really apologize because I'm really not well informed myself on this with the CCIU. It's on Boot Road, correct?
No.
That's their headquarters.
Okay.
Well, there is one on Boot Road, but no, the one we're discussing is in front of the
The
Coatesville School.
It's an alternative
All right.
school.
I was just wondering why our police, I thought it was down on Boot Road, so I was wondering why our police are having to respond, but that makes sense. So.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Yeah, some people would have it confused because
That's their
CCIU,
headquarters.
first thing you think of is a Downingtown location. So
Yeah.
I'm glad Mark had brought that up.
Yeah.
They do have a number of facilities throughout the county. That we're discussing, of course, and maybe in future agendas, specify exactly which one, so that that confusion doesn't arise.
Mhm.
Because we're talking
Location.
about the one in Callan Township, the Coatesville campus, where there have been requiring a lot of responses.
Yeah, no, excellent question. Cause
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Hmm.
Folks might be thinking of a different location.
Yeah, we're the only location in the county that are experiencing these kinds of issues.
It's a very important point.
Their primary high school, each students there.
You know, they
for the
they
population.
range in age from young up to early 20s.
Yeah, and yeah, sorry that you and your amazing group of officers have to deal with issues, talent split all the time over there. Stress you don't.
Well, and we years ago, we started talking about the impact it would have on resources. But I think we can all agree that during the last several months, the focus has been on potential public safety concerns when the problems spill out of the schools and into our businesses and on our roads and into neighbors' yards and throughout the community. So that's the greater concern at this point.
Chief, will you be getting other townships, police groups involved in this other than Callan?
When there's an incident at the intermediate unit, for example, if there's a threat where a student threatens to shoot another student or a staff member or cause violence, and the student resides in another municipality outside of Callan,
Right.
in those situations, we involve the department where the student resides, so that they could go to the home
Okay.
and determine whether or not, there's the potential for the student to even carry out the threat. Because then at that point, the school will have to make a determination of whether they allow him or her back into school.
Okay.
But any incidents that occur in the township, in Callan Township, we are the agency of record.
Even if they
Doesn't matter where the
live
student comes
elsewhere.
from. They have students there from Reading, Philadelphia, Montgomery, Bucks.
And don't you think there's got to be a way that everyone can help to contribute to this? Because that's a big financial.
The other forces have
Involvement.
had to respond to cover our own police when our police have been overwhelmed over there.
Thank you.
So they don't have anyone to come over and take care of the CCIU. They've had to come and back up our officers here, but there's no law that would force them to, or there's no way to bring them in
Yeah.
to do it.
There's got to be a way, even financially, for them to help out,
Do they use the
because it
coastal
just
school
seems
district?
like it's too much.
Do they get involved anytime? Like you call, like you have a task force, so if there was really a high level incident, you have to call for backup.
Right.
You know, people coming from like West Brandywine, Coatesville, wherever police officers come from. So does that ever happen?
On a fairly regular basis. I mean, the
Okay.
school has been on lockdown already several times this year where we've had to
Wow.
bring in police departments from other jurisdictions to assist
Okay.
Who pays those guys?
their department. But, under the Municipal Police Jurisdiction Act and mutual aid in general, they rely on us as well.
Yeah.
So when there's a need and an emergency, particularly when it involves a school, there's never an issue
Everybody emerges.
with other departments stepping in to assist.
Any other comments? Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Don,
Thank you.
appreciate the update. Let us know how next week's meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Of course.
Here we have a resolution. 2025-09 First Responder Wellness Week. This is an item. Who wants to take this? Ray.
So this, I got to give credit to Chief Elias. This really started with a conversation that the chief brought up, and we had a couple conversations. And it seems like ever since we had that conversation a couple weeks ago, it starts popping up more on the national radar, and that's first responder wellness. Obviously, the public safety sector faces some of the most challenging and stressful work environments of any profession. But a lot of times that stays internalized with those groups. They do usually seek out assistance when they're having, physical or mental issues that they're struggling with, and a lot of times don't feel like they have anywhere to turn. So nationally, there's been a increasing focus on trying to help first responders deal with that. Lexipol, which is a nationwide training provider, mainly online training provider, I guess for multiple years now, has been sponsoring from March 24th to the 28th, a First Responder Wellness Week, where they focus that week every day on a different topic, and they do that through flyers, podcasts, that type of thing that you send out to your staff, on duty staff, each day. And it covers tactical fitness, mental and emotional health, peer support networks, leading through wellness, and community and connection. So part of that program is to, hopefully get your assistance to promote that as Wellness Week. And really the motto for this year is fit for duty, fit for life.
I like that. Commissioners, any comments?
I think it's really important this goes on, that they have this program, and that we support it every way we can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ray, do you want to read the proclamation?
No, thank you, sir.
Yeah, actually, Mark, you were my second choice. I was hoping Ray would shine with a microphone in front of him, but
Story of my life for second choice. Resolution of Count Township, Chester County, Resolution 2025-09. On behalf of the people of Cowan Township, we, Board of Commissioners, Cowan Township, do hereby proclaim March 24th, 2025 to to March 28th, 2025 as First Responder Wellness Week. Whereas first responders, including law enforcement officers, firefighters, emergency medical services, EMS personnel, 911 dispatchers, correctional officers, and members of other organizations in the public safety sector come together, protect and aid our community in the event of an emergency. And whereas first responders risk their life and safety every day in the performance of their duties to protect our citizens. And whereas first responders are tasked with handling dangerous and complicated situations. And whereas nationwide law enforcement officers will go through an average of 188 critical incidents throughout the course of their career. Wow. And whereas first responders often experience stress that has real physical impacts, including cardiac issues, diabetes, obesity, and sleep issues. And whereas first responders are up to a 25.6 times higher risk for developing post-traumatic stress disorders when compared to individuals without such experiences. And whereas first responder wellness includes management of issues, including, but not limited to, sleep, fitness, nutrition, fatigue, anger management, post-traumatic stress and loss. And whereas we recognize the integral role first responders play in our communities and the benefits derived from their hard work, commitment, sacrifice, and unhesitating dedication. And whereas research shows that fostering a strong wellness culture inside first responder agencies enhances relations with the communities they serve. And there's a second page. Now, therefore, we Board of Commissioners of Cowan Township do hereby proclaim March 24th through 28th, 2025 as First Responder Wellness Week, Cowan Township. Duly adopted by the Governing Board of Cowan Township this 13th day of March.
Quickly read.
I could not have done that just.
It would have been so much better.
It would have been a great YouTube clip.
Uh-huh.
All right, not to make light of it, but it is a very important acknowledgement. Questions here in the township building? None at this time. You want to Zoom? All right. Entertain a motion to approve resolution 2025-09.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Evans, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's 4-0. Thank you. Really, you were. All right, board minutes to approve, February 27th. Commissioners, any comments, corrections needed? If not, entertain a motion. Not all at once? Are we still reading? Right. You know, I did have a question. Now to change this, but Commissioner Young stated that it looked like the road is sinking at the curb at Geo Carlson. Did we ever check this out? At the bridge? It's just,
Yeah, the last rainstorm I went over there. I looked to see the way the water was flowing. It was flowing to the grate. So, I mean, maybe it's an illusion, but I think it's pretty stable.
an optical illusion?
Optical illusion.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just-
But no, it looks, you know, the water was flowing to the grates and everything. So, I mean, I didn't see any problem. with
Okay,
it.
so the dip may be, I guess, built in,
Yeah, probably.
necessary. Okay,
Because if you look at the top of the peak of it, one is sloped towards Bailey Road and the other goes back towards Buchanan.
okay.
So I pulled over and took a look at it and seems fine.
Part of the design. All right.
Yeah.
I know Commissioner Young will let us know if it looks worse, just in case.
Yep.
Oh, is it any, So no changes for me. Commissioners, any others?
Good.
No.
Look good? Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Okay. Moved by Commissioner Tendero, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor? Say aye.
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 Do I got an aye there? Ring?
Yes.
All right.
Aye.
All right.
Sorry.
4-0. Passes. So much. Entertain. Yeah. Finance Department, check approval, for check run. Any numbers here? But they are in the packet. So, any comments, questions? Not entertain a motion to approve the check run.
Yeah, everything was fine.
Didn't flag anything. All right. Entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All right, moved by Commissioner Tendero, second by Commissioner Kennedy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Checks have been approved, 4-0. And, summary, board liaisons. All right, let's blow through this. Park and Rec. We have,
Abby Swan.
Jane asked me to give you a little update. We have been scheduling all of our events basically for the rest of the year. And we've got some exciting new ones. I'll bring up our little schedule here. And good, you all have it as well. So, the usual suspects, of course, summer series. We've got the Spackman Davis Farm on here. We tried to make sure that we weren't scheduling around any other significant events in the area. So you'll see there's some Little League events on here, some Historical Society events on here as well. So this is really all of the events. But a couple that we talked about at our last meeting, as part of our very popular Art in the Park series, we had a lot of requests to do Art in the Park for adults and older kids as well. So we lined up 2 different instructors who currently are teaching at Longwood. One is going to do an introductory photography class for our residents, and one is going to do botanical illustrations for the residents. And there will just be basically, we'll charge a small fee to cover the cost of the instructor, and then it'll be very minimal. So we're still working out some details in terms of locations. I have some ideas for those, but there'll be more on that coming up. The first would be in August, and then the next one would be in September. And then Liz, of course, is going to be doing her Art in the Park with the kids again. She's already got all her projects planned out. She's ready to go. So you've probably seen, we've been emphasizing the spring volunteer projects a lot on social media and in the newsletter. We've got a good group coming on Saturday for riparian buffer maintenance. And we could still use some more people for cleanup weekend. So it's looking a little lean. I've been doing some outreach a little farther than usual.
when is cleanup weekend?
It is the 29th and 30th. So we've got shifts on Saturday and Sunday. They're like 2 hours each. So even if you can come for a half an hour, anything will help. So we have lots of sites around the township. We also have folks that are doing their own individual cleanups in their neighborhoods or in their yards, and then we give them supplies. Public Works comes and picks up the trash they collected, and that all goes to count toward our totals. We're doing an unofficial little competition with Coatesville because they're also having one that weekend. So there's a lot of cleaning up going on. But we could use some more people for that. Yeah, that's about it, I think. Any questions?
I am 99.9% sure I will be in town this year. I'm
Yay.
usually not on that weekend, and I'd like to try to put a little group together over
great.
in the Lloyd Avenue area.
Yeah, we do have a shift at the Park and Ride right now with one person on it. So that would be great if anyone wants to join in on that one over there. And then as well, I should mention that the Easter egg hunt is a little late this year, April 19th, but at the April Parks and Rec meeting, we'll be stuffing eggs. And that's always a good time if anyone wants to stop by and help us put candy into little plastic eggs.
We have how many eggs this year?
I think we did 3,000 last year
What
and
about
right now
five?
immediately. So yeah, we're going to get at least another
5,000?
1,000 or two.
It's a lot of fun. I have done this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Blast putting
It's
them
crazy
together.
events.
Mhm.
So we need some help with that too.
Price of eggs. I mean,
I was just gonna
These are cheaper.
Yeah, the question? Adam, come on up.
Still have Allen Community Day and cleanup,
That's just,
not Community Day, what was the one in the
September.
spring?
Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, that's we've rebranded Count Cleanup Weekend. So that is March 29th and 30th, right up here. Yeah, same thing. No. Oh, well, yeah, it used to be closer to Earth Day many years ago, but everything was too green by Earth Day.
yeah.
So we've started doing it earlier in the hopes of beating out some of the. Oh, yeah. Whenever you want. I'll have supplies. If you don't do it that weekend, it's okay.
Hey, can we add that to the discussion item for Tuesday? I knew you were looking for another.
Good call, Adam.
Yes.
That's right. They have their little section.
Yeah.
Double check.
Right. I have it up right
Available.
now.
Yeah, if you want to do it, you can bring. Discussion item.
And it is on the agenda for the PC Tuesday as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I can't, even with my glasses, I can't see. So you don't have to do it. Just what is the date for Town Community Day?
September 6th.
Saturday, September 6th.
And National Night Out is August 5th. So get that one on your calendars as well.
Hey, isn't that
Someone else's
somebody's
birthday.
birthday? Yeah.
and then they have first pitch for Little League too.
It's
on
April 5th, opening day.
So,
April 5th is
Yeah.
opening day.
Yeah.
for
And the 6th is the OCHS Winter History Lecture on barns. And they're going to be highlighting the Spackman barn. They're really excited about it.
It's at
So,
2:00.
This is something that it could probably wait, but I'll throw this in here. We have found out that the barn at the bank barn at Spackman Davis Farm is the largest
mhm.
in Chester County.
Wow, barn. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Place to be.
Like, a lot going on.
By chance, are all these dates on the website?
I would say 90% of them are on the website.
Okay.
There have been a few added this week that might not be on there. But
Okay.
yeah. Yep.
Anything else for Park and Rec? Plenty.
What about the new play? equipment? Why not?
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. There's a lot going on.
It is.
So Public Works is clearing out a couple of the areas in Municipal Park. If you remember last year, we had the public vote at Community Day on some different playground additions that they would like. And we were able to purchase two of those, as well as replacements for the big swing set there. So we'll be getting 3 new pieces of playground equipment in Municipal Park. The guys are over there getting it cleared, and that's supposed to ship at the beginning of April. And our hope is to get it in right away. So we're getting a big saucer swing that is super fun. I've played on them myself, and you can fit lots of kids on. You can fit kids with all different ability levels. And the other thing is a really cool. It's like it's a twirly thing that you hold onto and just like get spun around.
You get dizzy.
It looks nauseating, but fun. So those will be coming in very shortly, and the guys have been helping with that
You feed the kids before or after that?
after.
Once they have their arms set, they're breaking, they fall off.
Abby, has there been any more discussion about the bus trip to Washington?
Not to Washington. We did get on the calendar for May 31st another New York trip because the demand is so high. The DC trip was a lot more expensive.
Really?
So I think we can work it out, but the buses book up immediately at the beginning of the year. So at the first Parks and Rec meeting, we just like threw out a couple dates. So we have one scheduled for May 31st that we're going to start advertising.
Right.
Tickets will go on sale probably next week, and then another one in December as well. So they're very popular.
Yeah,
I booked one bus for each, and they'll fill up right away. So yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right, if we're done with Park and Rec, we'll go to COG.
Okay, so it's COG. So basically it was a roundtable discussion, and a lot of people were very concerned about the PICO rate increase. So if anybody saw the new bills, they're alarming, almost up 10%. So they were just trying to figure out how can we set up some type of consortium and who to go to see how we can counteract some of these increases. They don't really know. But this is something that was alarming. A lot of people were concerned about it. Has anybody in here seen the electric bills lately?
I assumed, and this is probably foolish of me, I assumed my bill was higher because of the very cold.
Because of the
snap,
winter?
Because this was a really cold winter for a change.
There's been a 10% increase and
Wow.
they're very alarmed about it. So they're looking at ways to, hey, how can we get around this if there is a way? No, I'm not sure. The other thing that was discussed was the Delaware Valley Regional Lending Program for municipalities. And they were just asking everybody around the table, where do we borrow money from? And if not, again, collecting data to see where and who's giving the best bonds and giving the best rates for municipal loans. So if that's something that we're interested in, they're pursuing that, to see what's the best approach.
Interested in options to save money.
Right. Another big discussion was the Walking Across America 250. I think we're going to be a big part of that, Mark, at Spackman Farm. So they were talking about ideas, and they're thinking about doing a 3-day event at the Scottsville Inn and a reenactment of General Lafayette during that period of time. So they're really getting staged up for that event. And the Chester County Home Show. It's going to be at North Brandywine Middle School, March 29th. I don't have the time, but do they normally have the home show there?
I don't know.
That was something new. So I think they're trying to work on getting some of our local vendors, builders,
Right.
to come into the county, from the county, just to come to one place and market their services and do demonstrations and have exhibits. So that should be exciting.
Love it.
So that was COG.
All right, thank you, Jane. Municipal Authority. Real quick, at our last board meeting in February, we reviewed the 2024 Chapter 94 annual year-end report and authorized staff to forward it to to DARA and PAWC, so it can be included in their final report to the DEP. Also, the board authorized Gilmore to proceed with the preparation of the grant application for the Dogwood Scott Drive Phase 2 extension project, which will be presented to the authority at their March 24th meeting. The proposed project will help provide public sewer to 14 existing homes that were not included as part of the Phase 1 portion. And that is it for CTMA. For DARA, George Chambers, of course, is our liaison. Passing this along, Mr. Mays over at DARA updated the DARA board and stated that the NTEC, which is the engineering firm, continued with the project design and estimated that the design was nearly 30% completed, and that's for the future expansion and plant modernization. Always exciting there.
Big time.
Yeah, I'm not as exciting as Park and Rec.
Unless
Thank you.
it doesn't work,
Yeah, if you can't flush your toilet,
then it's very exciting.
And next, fire board. We actually had our meeting on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. Quickly, let's see, we nominated Marlene Taylor as our chairperson. The township agreement just needs to be updated, so, you know, Don and Ray, we can sit down and just see if there's anything that we need to change or update on that. They had a few minor changes in mind. You're probably already aware of it. The other new business we did, some SOGs, standard operating guidelines. One, they added a new one for elevator emergencies. So they know how to, they should be trained in on dealing with the elevator emergencies. Anyone who's ever been locked in an elevator would appreciate it. And the second one was just an update to the apparatus drivers training program. Which is just the purpose of this policy is to ensure that all new drivers have been adequately trained and qualified to operate the apparatus in a safe and proficient manner. So that is all I have for the fire board. And Historical Commission.
Thank you, sir. I was gonna, this is not Historical Commission, but it's the Old Town Historical Society. Just want to mention that they have an incredible historic exhibit. Thank you. Right here in our lobby. They change it out every month or so, and this one right now is on the Coal Wharf. It's just spectacular stuff out there. That clock, that Seth Thomas clock, is wow. So come by the township building, not, you know, just stick your head in the door and see it.
Nice.
We met, what date was it we met? Well, it'll be 4 weeks next week. So I guess it was 3 weeks ago. And we talked about the Spackman Davis Farm roof and porch being nearly complete. If you haven't seen them, drive by and take a peek. Porch, just, they did a great job of bringing it back to life. We're still waiting on the snow cleats, I think, for the roof, and that should be it.
They're installing those. If they haven't already, but those were received. They finally got the match.
Excellent. So we started planning for the June 28th picnic, which we are really excited about. It was a wonderful, wonderful success last year. And this year it's going to be bigger, better, and even more fun. So stay tuned. There is a grant program for America 250 projects. The next phase opens up on April 1st, and we just discussed applying for one of them. There's a match. There's $5,000, $10,000, and $20,000 grants available, and it has a 50% match, but it's attainable in our budget. If we get to that point, we want to do it, everyone will work with the township on that. But it would help to really get us more in the spotlight. Abby brought in some very cool AI imaginings of some of our historic resources that could be used for merch, you know, like magnets for your car and stuff like that. So, and while we're talking about Abby, I just want to say she became our recording secretary this year. And wow, you know, if you got anything in your life that needs working on, give Abby a call.
Dad told him to take a ticket.
Get her and Tom Parr, but no, Abby's pretty amazing. Lastly, we had a couple visit who purchased the Irwin Morse house. And what's interesting about that house is on our list of resources that we felt belonged on the historic preservation list, we had actually put that one in as Beyond Salvation. And this couple bought it, and they're in there working on it. This house it has a beehive oven. It's just wow. And they shows a lot of imagery of what they've been doing in there.
Yeah.
What they're digging through. was the guy, what was he? Was it chairmaker? And they found one of the forms for a leg. And this is like, like late 18th century, something like that. So pretty cool stuff. Anyway, we meet next Wednesday. If you want to come out and find out how much fun history it can be, especially when it's in your township, come on out. Gosh, he's not here. Lincoln Highway Commission met, and we talked a lot about things like the using data to show the reality of Count Township. It had a discussion with a dental tech who lives in Count. Of course, she was doing the talking because I had stuff. But
How was that again?
how's everything? Oh, but I asked her, I'd say she's probably in her 30s. I said, what do you think the median age is of a Count Township resident? And she said, late 30s, 40. And I'm thinking, no way. But guess what? It is. We've seen ESRI data on this. There's been such a shift in the last decade in our population, people moving or passing on, and there's young folks coming in, so they're going to want things. So we're talking a lot about that, what they could want, design guidelines and stuff like that. Trying to make Lincoln Highway the place to be. That's it.
Thank you for that update. Ingleside Golf Course.
Ingleside Golf Course. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lorraine, and want to let you know that the club memberships range from 1,600 to 2,100, depending on the frequency of play. There are offers of discounts to Cowan residents, seniors, juniors, family, and veterans. Membership includes unlimited golf cart usage, guest passes, complimentary driving range balls, pro shop discounts, invitation to members-only events, and golf tournaments throughout the year. Expanding the planning for events and fundraisers throughout 2025 are led by John Frank as event manager. Golf course improvements continue, including rebuilding sand bunkers and tree care are current priorities. Moved 1 tee to better direct bad tee off hits to surrounding residential properties. Considering spring 2025 Ingleside Golf Jobs Fair. The next golf committee meeting will be tentatively held Monday, March 31st at 12 noon. I would like to let you know to please send your thoughts and prayers to Nicole Shannon and family. Her mom passed away. A great job to Nicole and the Ingleside golf team for a great 2024 and for the implementation of a robust 2025. That's all. Thanks again.
Thanks, Lorraine.
You're welcome.
Additional business. This time, public comment? I'm here in the township building. In Zoom. Like I'm asking for entertainment to
So
adjourn.
moved.
Moved. Moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Great evening. Have a happy St. Patty's Day.
Yes.